Welcome, everybody. The NFL regular season is over, which means it is time to look forward to the NFL offseason. Today, we're going to be doing a Detroit Lions 2023 NFL mock draft as we look forward to their future. All right, as mentioned, we're going to be looking at the Detroit Lions and their 2023 NFL mock draft. We saw Dan Campbell get this team really close to the playoffs. There's a lot of holes on the defense. The offense looked pretty good. There's a couple holes there too, but overall, I think mostly this will be a defensive mock draft as they look to make that push for the playoffs next season. They have some extra picks here from that trade of Jared Goff, bringing in Jared Goff, and then also trading away Matt Stafford. So we'll see what they can do here. We're going to be using the NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator, and that is the reason for this is just because they have the players that are mostly in the draft, and the ones going home to school are out of the simulator. It's not always the easiest thing for some of these simulators to have, so this one at least mostly has that. Some of these players will maybe slide in ways that are unrealistic, but we'll just do what we can and kind of roll with it. So let's get started with the Lions 2023 NFL Mock Draft. All right, and we're going to reject every trade. It's just there's a lot of them that's just on balance, so we want to see what we can do with the picks right here. Also, it's before free agency, so it's kind of hard to tell what they might do. And I think if this happens, you're running to the board taking Jalen Carter, one of the best players in the draft, very disruptive from the interior. The Lions need help all over that defense, and if a player like that pops up, I think you have to take them. Could really help that defensive line. As they got edge rushers last year, they got James Houston, they got Aiden Hutchinson on the edge. Now get Jalen Carter in the middle, and you can kind of see how things go there. This will not happen. We will not have C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young available at number 18. If both of them are available, then something has gone completely wrong. The Lions look like they're pretty set with Jared Goff, so we're gonna pass them up. But I do think if both these guys fell, they would definitely consider taking one of them. I just don't think that's realistic. So we're gonna slide down and see what we can get later on here. As mentioned, they got those edge rushers. I don't know if we would go that route. Don't really know if they'd go any of the offensive players that are there. We'll go Clark Phillips. It's a little bit of a reach here. I think some of the players that maybe would have been picked or would have been available if Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud were not on the board. I think maybe that would have been the pick, but Clark Phillips is a good man corner. He's got good ball skills. I think you can really help this defense. Again, bit of a reach, but what are you going to do? Just there wasn't much available on the board unless you wanted to go offense. Remember, the T.J. Hockenson trade left them without a tight end for the most part of the rest of the year, and I think they might address that in the draft. I don't think they'll do it in the first round, but maybe the second or third. This is a great value here. Dalton Kincaid specifically has been talked about as a possible first-round pick because of his receiving ability. They'll have to coach him up on how to block. Dan Campbell will try to teach him how to block as a former blocking tight end himself. Maybe he will go take him because of his receiving ability and ability to open up the offense, along with his wide receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams stepping up. But he's going to have to block to fit into this system. All right, looks like there's a bunch of edge rushers. Again, got 2 edge rushers in last year's draft, but I don't think there's a thing as too many edge rushers. You might want to go a different position here. But we'll go Derek Hall. He's got really long arms from Auburn. I think he's a guy who's going to shoot up draft boards at a certain point. Maybe second round, maybe first round potentially. I mean, look at all those picks they're offered for this pick. I don't know if that's that's realistic, but here we go. All right, so still third round. We're going to go Henry To'oTo'o from Alabama, the Tennessee transfer into Alabama. He's been pretty good over the last several years. As mentioned, the Lions need help all over that defense. We saw last year on Hard Knocks, Malcolm Rodriguez, a late-round pick last year, kind of stepped in and was able to help fill a void at linebacker. But they just need more help. They need to address a lot of things on this defense, and I don't think any position is necessarily off limits with this one. All right, we're going to keep on going with the Lions 2023 NFL mock draft. And let's take Travius Hodges-Tomlinson. He's a slot corner from TCU. You already have Clark Phillips. Let's move Travius Hodges-Tomlinson into the slot. Let's really help that secondary out. Yes, you might still have Aaron Rodgers in that division. You got Justin Fields coming up. You got Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson to worry about with the Vikings. Let's get the secondary going. And at this point, you've kind of addressed a lot of the defense. Let's just see what some of the best players available are that can help your team moving forward. I would say Dante Demas, a wide receiver here, could be really good. Guy from Maryland. Maryland had a couple good NFL caliber receivers. Maybe makes the roster. Maybe gives you some depth there at pick 183. And we'll move on to pick 194. There are plenty of guys here that I think were pretty good. Jaden Reed's a guy I think made a lot of highlight reel catches at Michigan State, and I think that would be consideration. But we did just take Dante Demas. So let's go. Let's go with Jay Ward, the safety. We haven't addressed the safety position. He's a guy who was at the Senior Bowl. Maybe his stock gets bumped up a little bit. Don't know if we'll ever really see that much playing time, but maybe a guy you take for special teams here at pick 194. Now, the Lions with this draft, I think, do have a really good chance of maybe making the playoffs the next year. That is what this goal is all about. The Lions have built under Dan Campbell, and we'll see if they can do it. Jalen Carter, really good for that defensive line. Good disruptive player by himself. But he's going to open things up for James Houston. He's going to open things up for Aiden Hutchinson as well because he will command some double teams, and that is good to see for that defense. Clark Phillips, again, a little bit of a reach at 18. I do like him personally. I'll have to do my deep dive on him with tape this upcoming weeks here, but the board just didn't fall the right way. It was Stroud and Young, and I do think that they would go Stroud or Young if they were there at 18, maybe even 6, honestly, if we're being totally honest. But the board didn't sit that way necessarily for a good outcome. So we'll take Clark Phillips. We'll take the best player available. They might be looking at a trade down if that does happen, though. Dalton Kincaid, a receiving tight end. Dan Campbell's going to have to teach him how to block if he wants to play every single down, especially with the way they want to run that offense. Derek Hall, pretty good edge rusher out of Auburn. Henry To'oTo'o from Alabama. Tennessee transfer, really good at stopping the run. We'll see what he can do at the next level. Travis Hodges-Tomlinson, another corner. Dante Demas and Jay Ward. I think it's a pretty good mock draft for the Lions. Could have gone better with pick 18. That's one I'm not too thrilled about. But overall, you get some quality players, and you can't complain about Jalen Carter at number 6. That would be an absolute steal. Let me know what you think of the mock draft. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will be doing more mock drafts in the future. Thanks, everyone, for watching.